Hey everybody, really excited to speak with Zafar today, who just broke into deal coming from a retail background. Zafar, maybe just setting the stage for everyone, share a little bit about your background to date and what got you looking at tech sales in the first place.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. So I'm super excited for this. Higher levels was awesome as a tool. So my background, the past 5, 6 years, I've been running two edible arrangements locations. So what that kind of entails is I wear a bunch of hats, hiring people, unfortunately firing people sometimes, working in inventory, managing processes. So when I first got into it, I came in with a new owner. We kind of were hand in hand in this. So we had to create new processes to figure out how to run this business and what edible arrangements is. That took about 2 years or so. And then like the last 2 years, I've been really focused on driving the revenue and the sales aspect of it. So I kind of took my other hats off and focused on the sales aspect. And I started really getting into B2B sales, working with schools and doctors' offices and just local businesses to where our locations were. And the reason why I took this job initially at Edible Arrangements was I wanted to figure out where my skills were and where my passion was. And I found that through the sales aspect and especially the B2B sales, like creating a relationship and really prospecting and those types of things. So that's, I'd say about a year ago, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Where do I want to use these sales skills? So like a year's worth of research I was looking at, like medical sales is a big one, but tech sales is really where I landed because I've always been interested in tech and different like SaaS products. Always find like on TechCrunch and stuff like that, Hacker News, and just seeing what's the latest and greatest. So the past year, I've been really like looking at tech sales, super on the Reddit, following some things on Instagram, and then I found higher levels. If we want to go deeper into that, I can go deeper into finding higher levels if you want.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe a question before even, what tipped you over the edge with higher levels, just the decision of, it sounds like you were searching a lot of free material on Reddit. I'm sure you found our YouTube and other people's YouTubes as well. What went into the decision to say, hey, I actually want to invest in training versus trying to piece this together with all the resources out there?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I'd rather get something done efficiently than kind of just throwing darts at the board. So I could find a tech sales job, I'm sure. Would I found the right one, or how long would it have taken? Those were the issues that I was worried about. So I wanted to make sure I streamlined that as much as possible.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And I'm curious too. Now, I'm sure, with the amount of research it sounds like you did, you probably came across several different programs. I know there's a lot out there now. What went into your decision or what kind of tipped you over the edge to say, hey, higher levels is the best fit for me?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, money's the big thing. High levels, some people may look at the price and be like, "Hey, that's expensive." It is not expensive compared to other things that I was looking at. And then you guys have the references behind it also, which is the big thing. Like when I was first getting into looking into tech sales, I was following this one person on Instagram, like good person. They seemed like they were helping out everybody. I reached out like, "Hey, like, can you help me out?" And the price was like a lot of money. And the references were like like not sturdy. I asked him like, can I call a couple of people that you worked with? And they gave me one person. I was like, okay, that's a little risky. And during that time, probably only been like a month or so where I was watching higher level videos, but you guys have so much content that like you can kind of binge it. So it really related to it. It was easy to understand, easy to digest. And that's where I came across the program itself.
That's awesome. And maybe shedding light too with some of the research you did on your own. You joined higher levels. Is there one or two things within the community and the program that really was like a light bulb moment or gave you something that you didn't have with just all the free material out there?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, the community aspect is a big thing. That's what I was looking for in a program. Like I know whoever's like running the program, they're probably gonna be busy, but do they have a community behind them that can be like a reference point? We basically like I'm saying Reddit a lot in this, like you have your own little subreddit within higher level. So if you have a question, you just throw it out into the pond and then the fish start answering to it. So that was awesome about it. The resume help was very, very helpful. Like I thought I had a decent resume. Actually, I think before I joined higher levels, I threw my resume into the tech sales subreddit. It got ripped apart, and I want to respond to everybody who talked bad about my resume and be like, "Hey, I got a job like so quick," but I'm not going to do that on them. But the videos were awesome, and then joining the calls also and going over your resume is a big help also. So yeah, community aspect, like again, hopping on a call and being able to talk to real life people is a big thing. There's plenty more also. I mean, like the trackers and the question banks and things like that, they're huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. And credit to you for taking advantage too. It's one thing to join, but we often find the people who just dive right in are getting results like yourself, jobs in a matter of weeks and months, not half a year to a year. I'd love to maybe probe into too some free value for anyone out there watching that's maybe considering breaking in. I know you had several different interviews with different companies. I believe you had multiple offers as well. Maybe just first and foremost, focusing on how you even get noticed. You are coming from a different career altogether in the retail space. You have some sales experience, but not really tech or tech adjacent. How did you get noticed? How did you get multiple interviews? And we'll keep peeling it back from there.
Yeah, definitely. So it's all just do the job before you get the job. But the resume was a big thing also. Like I did a couple applications, not many, but a couple before high levels, and like ATS blocking right away, like auto deny. So just being able to have a good resume, that was a big thing. But the biggest thing is reaching out, LinkedIn, cold email, cold calling. I had a pretty good sequence set up for every single job that I applied for, which higher levels helped out with. The tracker helps out with, like, I would highlight, you guys have a tracker, and I would highlight each cell to say, okay, if it's yellow, that means I did one, reach out to them. If I make it blue, that means I did two things, and just being consistent with that. And then the verbiage on your reach out also, which a lot of your videos help out with, is like, this is how you structure, we're going to say, be short and sweet, and like kind of hit these couple things.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And obviously paid off. Tons of interviews, multiple offers, maybe getting towards those mid and final round interviews. Maybe one question around just, hey, you're in the interview. I know you kind of were able to find your resume, package that in a way that got you noticed, reach out to the companies in particular. Did you encounter any resistance to your background, or someone say, hey, we're interviewing people with 1 or 2 years of experience? I'm just curious if you met any resistance there, and then we'll look at the final rounds as well.
Yeah, I did. I actually was able to get like an interview with an account executive role, which was with the company that, like, I kind of just took the interview just to take it. I didn't want to really be an account executive there, but I wanted to see what that interview process was like, and I learned a lot in there. And they kind of pushed back on like experience and things like that. But I was able to hear different questions that you may not hear in an SDR interview. But if you have that experience, if you bring an answer similar to what an AE would answer, they kind of like that. So yeah, just using like stories and things like that is stuff that I learned throughout the interviews. Is if they have, an objection, have an objection, like a response to the objection, but use a story or like use some quantitative numbers that can go over that objection.
Yeah, that's awesome. And last question too, around more of the interview piece. You maybe have never done a presentation or a cold call specifically in a tech environment. Did you find any challenges with like final round interviews or presentations that you had to do? And any advice for anyone out there watching?
Yeah, I did a couple of cold calls. I did some presentations. Just take your time and effort with it. Use the tools that you have, use ChatGPT, use the people that you reached out to within the company, like definitely reach out to them. So I got hired at Deal. We thankfully have a lot of people that got hired at Deal through higher levels. So I connected with like 2 people instantly. And they were just fed me information like, this is what the interview process is going to look like. This is what they're going to expect for you. This is what I did. And then you can use those answers in your interview, because if they hired X, like they're going to hire Y. So just leveraging those types of things. When it comes to cold calling, we just practice. I have cold calling experience, but I mean, I did slip up an interview like a little bit. It wasn't a huge deal, but like afterwards, I was like, I could have done better. That's just regular nerves. I don't think they're really looking for a perfect cold call. They're looking for, can you take feedback, and you have the basic structure of a cold call.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Really great advice. I think a lot of people try and perfect something before they actually just get out there and experience it. And to your point, even with that AE interview that you failed, like, or maybe it just wasn't even the right fit, you took it for practice. Like, that's so invaluable to even just get in that situation and be able to anticipate, like that's what so many people have said. It's like, if they, we had someone recently that broke into HubSpot, one of the best companies as well, similar to Deal. And they were like, hey, if HubSpot was my first interview, I would have failed it. But the fact that I failed 3 to 4, or even just got myself in the arena with 3 to 4 other companies that I wasn't necessarily like totally focused on and definitely wanted to work there, I wouldn't have been ready to actually get the best offer possible. So love to see it. And obviously the work speaks for itself. Maybe just in closing, if there's any advice to anyone out there, maybe advice to your younger self or someone that's looking at this process, maybe early stages of trying to break into tech sales or considering the change.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is researching and using a tool like higher levels. Like, when you get an SDR job, like, what's the way that you're going to succeed? You're going to reach out to the more experienced, successful SDRs or the AEs, and that's what higher levels is for you. Like, these are people who have gone through the trenches, so you don't have to. So just leverage those types of experts that you have. Besides that, I mean, I would just say go out and do it. Just go out and do it. If you get a program like higher levels, don't go through the entire program and then start applying. Do it while you're doing the program, because you'll learn as you go. And like you mentioned, you know, if you fail at one place, it's just going to make you better for the next one. And that's very true. Like the same thing happened to me. Like if I had DO as my first interview, I would have looked like a bozo on there. But thankfully, I had a couple of reps under me, and I was good to go.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome advice so far. Really appreciate it. I know everyone watching is going to get a ton out of it. If you're okay with it, I'll throw your LinkedIn down below. As always, my call to action, if anyone wants to reach out, is don't ask a softball question like, how did you break into tech sales? Zafar is here to help, but definitely make the most of his time. If he's willing to give you time at all, make sure you have a great question. But Zafar, this was an awesome conversation. Congrats to you again. Really stoked to see you land at a great company at Deal. Unless there's anything else, appreciate the time and congrats again.
No, that's it. Just thank you to you, you and Chris also. It's a great program.